What Blake says, a conversation that she heard had taken place with Steve Sarowitz. Steve Sarowitz is the head of Wayfair Studios. He's the co-founder of Wayfair Studios, along with Justin.
In a new amended complaint and the ongoing legal battle, Lively's legal team saying the experiences of Ms. Lively and others were documented at the time they occurred, starting in May of 2023.
Blake Lively has just crossed a line, one that could cost her everything. Explosive new evidence suggests that the A-list actress orchestrated a stunning betrayal, leaking confidential Sony HR complaints about her co-star, Justin Baldoni, in a reckless attempt to destroy his career. What was meant to be a strategic and calculated takedown has backfired in the most shocking way possible, leaving Lively herself at the center of a career-threatening scandal that no one saw coming. Hollywood is no stranger to behind-the-scenes feuds, but this situation is unlike anything we've seen before. Insiders claim that Lively, desperate to gain the upper hand in a private dispute with Baldoni, went so far as to access and distribute internal corporate documents that were never meant to see the light of day. These files, which contained sensitive HR complaints, were allegedly used as ammunition to smear Baldoni in the public eye. But here's the catch: her bold move didn't just fail, it has completely imploded. Rather than tarnishing Baldoni's reputation, the leak has only raised serious questions about Lively's credibility, her motives, and whether she has now crossed legal and ethical boundaries that could come back to haunt her. The once beloved Hollywood darling is now facing intense backlash, with critics and industry insiders alike questioning just how far she was willing to go to manipulate the narrative. And in the ultimate twist of fate, Justin Baldoni isn't backing down. He's fighting back harder than ever. Instead of cowering under the weight of these allegations, he is flipping the entire situation on its head. Sources close to Baldoni say he has undeniable proof that not only clears his name but exposes the full extent of Lively's involvement in this scandal. He has the receipts, the witnesses, and the support of those who believe he has been wrongfully targeted. What started as an attack on his character is now shaping up to be a full-blown Hollywood battle for truth, power, and justice. But let's take a step back. How did a confidential HR dispute escalate into a bombshell scandal dominating entertainment headlines? Who else knew about the leak before it became public? And more importantly, what happens next for both stars? Blake Lively, once considered one of Hollywood's most untouchable actresses, now finds herself in treacherous waters. The backlash is mounting, the industry is watching, and the stakes couldn't be higher. With lawsuits potentially looming and public opinion rapidly shifting, her entire career could hang in the balance. Meanwhile, Baldoni is seizing this moment to set the record straight, using Lively's own misstep to turn the tide in his favor. Could this scandal actually propel him to even greater success, while leaving Lively scrambling to salvage her image? There's no turning back now. The damage is done, the truth is unraveling, and Hollywood is bracing for the next chapter of this jaw-dropping controversy. Let's dive into all the details, uncover the secrets behind this shocking leak, and examine why this is shaping up to be Blake Lively's biggest and most disastrous mistake yet.
What Blake says, a conversation that she heard had taken place with Steve Sarowitz. Steve Sarowitz is the head of Wayfair Studios. He's the co-founder of Wayfair Studios, along with Justin. And she says in this lawsuit that, it's interesting, she says, this is what I heard, he said, but it's presented as a quote in the lawsuit. She says that Steve said, "I will protect the studio like Israel protected itself from Hamas."
First, let's break down exactly what these leaked HR complaints contain, and why they've sent Hollywood into a frenzy. Supposedly, multiple confidential HR reports from the set of Ends with Us were filed with Sony Pictures, accusing Justin Baldoni of inappropriate on-set behavior. According to the leaks, at least 2 other actresses from the film allegedly claimed that Baldoni's conduct made them uncomfortable during filming. If true, these documents would seemingly support Blake Lively's own accusations that Baldoni created a hostile work environment. On the surface, this sounds absolutely damning. A major Hollywood star accused of misconduct. Official HR complaints backing up those claims. It should be a career-ending revelation. But here's the twist. Things aren't as clear-cut as they seem. The legitimacy of these leaked documents is now under intense scrutiny, and Baldoni's team is pushing back hard. Sources close to Baldoni suggest this entire ordeal is nothing more than a carefully orchestrated smear campaign. They argue that these so-called HR complaints are either exaggerated or outright fabricated to bolster Lively's case against him. And here's where it gets even more suspicious. Justin himself has alleged that Lively's team deliberately planted a false story about multiple HR complaints during production, manipulating public perception before her legal case could even play out. Of course, Lively's publicist has flat out denied these accusations, but one can't help but ask, if these HR grievances were real and truly damning, why weren't they included in her official legal filings against Baldoni? The authenticity of these leaked documents is now the central question. Were they genuine HR complaints buried by Sony until now? Or is this a calculated hit job designed to destroy Baldoni's reputation? The timing alone raises major red flags. Oh, how did this leak even happen? Well, in a very sneaky, tabloid-ready fashion. The confidential reports didn't emerge through official legal channels or trusted journalism. They mysteriously surfaced on social media, causing a firestorm out of nowhere. Within hours, TikTok and Instagram were flooded with posts featuring screenshots of what were claimed to be HR complaint documents from Sony's HR department. And the biggest coincidence of all, these supposed leaks dropped right as Blake Lively was preparing to file an amended lawsuit with new allegations against Baldoni. The question now is, who leaked these documents and why? Was this an intentional move by someone looking to tip the scales in Lively's favor? Or was it a desperate attempt to control the narrative before more facts could come to light? Either way, this scandal has only just begun, and the truth is proving to be messier than anyone could have imagined. As this controversy deepens, more details are expected to emerge, and the stakes for both Lively and Baldoni couldn't be higher. Will this leak ultimately expose the truth? Or will it end up being a career-ending miscalculation for one of Hollywood's biggest stars? Let's dive into the details and unravel how this shocking scandal continues to unfold.
That she became uncomfortable with Justin Baldoni yesterday while she was filming. She states that Mr. Baldoni put his bare hands on her backside and said that he was trying to help her with her posture. Complainant immediately voiced her displeasure with being touched on an intimate part of her body, and Mr. Baldoni responded with, "It's fine. I'm totally hot for my wife," in a dismissive tone.
It's almost as if someone wanted to manufacture a media storm, carefully crafting a scandal to sway public opinion in Blake Lively's favor. These extra HR complaints didn't just appear out of nowhere. They were strategically leaked at a time when Lively was building her case against Justin Baldoni. But here's where things get suspicious. The leakers remain completely anonymous, and the rumor mill is spinning out of control. Supposedly, someone got it from someone who knows a Sony employee. Sounds vague. That's because it is. This flimsy hearsay trail reeks of a carefully orchestrated inside job, one that has Lively's camp written all over it. Think about it. If these complaints were real, why weren't they handled through the proper channels? A genuine HR grievance would have been investigated internally, not splashed across social media in the most sensationalized way possible. The fact that these allegations surfaced online instead of through legitimate legal proceedings screams of a deliberate smear campaign designed to destroy Baldoni's reputation before he had a chance to defend himself. And if that wasn't telling enough, Sony Pictures' reaction to this so-called leak was swift and damning. The studio wasted no time in shutting down the rumors, issuing a direct and unambiguous statement that left no room for misinterpretation. In essence, Sony's message was simple. What complaints? The company made it clear that they have no official record of any HR filings against Justin Baldoni. Let that sink in. The very entity that was supposedly at the center of this scandal, the studio that allegedly received these damning HR reports, is flat out denying their existence. In an official statement published by Variety, Sony confirmed that no such complaints were ever formally lodged against Baldoni. That's right. The corporation accused of burying these documents is now saying they never even existed in the first place. If that doesn't raise every possible red flag about the legitimacy of this so-called leak, nothing will. The entire situation reeks of manipulation, deception, and a desperate attempt to weaponize public perception. For Sony, This isn't just about Baldoni or Lively. It's about protecting corporate integrity. If these documents are fake, this wasn't just an unauthorized disclosure of internal HR information. It was a fabricated one. And that could have serious consequences. Was someone within Lively's circle so determined to take down Baldoni that they resorted to manufacturing evidence? Or is there another player behind the scenes pulling the strings in this high-stakes Hollywood scandal? As more details unfold, one thing is certain. This isn't just a messy feud between two actors. This is a battle for truth, credibility, and possibly even legal repercussions for those involved. And right now, the cracks in Blake Lively's narrative are growing deeper by the day. Let's dive even further into the tangled web of deception behind this leak, and uncover who really stands to gain from this Hollywood firestorm.
And I think that the Justin and Blake stuff is, I think it's a big PR game, and I think that we're all the pawns of it. And also that story I gave you, that's one where I've talked to them. I feel comfortable sharing that much. Like, good luck. There's so many different groups out there.
Insiders close to the situation are raising serious doubts about the legitimacy of these so-called leaked HR documents. According to sources who have reviewed them, the files contain glaring oddities, ones that suggest something far more calculated is at play. The most suspicious detail. The dates were completely redacted. Why would a legitimate HR complaint have its filing dates blacked out? That's not a standard practice for internal reports. In fact, removing such crucial information makes it virtually impossible to verify when, or even if, these complaints were ever officially filed. The missing dates alone cast a massive shadow of doubt over the entire leak. If these were real HR complaints, why the secrecy? What was the leaker trying to hide? Everything about this situation points to one undeniable conclusion. This was not an official release, but a rogue act designed to manufacture a scandal and feed the media frenzy. Sony certainly never authorized any such disclosure. In fact, by publicly denying the existence of any complaints, the studio all but confirmed that one of two things happened. Either someone stole and manipulated internal documents, or these documents were outright fabrications. Either scenario is a major scandal with severe consequences. Make no mistake, if Blake Lively played a role in engineering this leak, she's playing with fire. Leaking confidential HR reports isn't just unethical, it's potentially illegal. Workplace HR files are typically protected by strict confidentiality policies, meaning that publicly spreading them, especially for personal or professional gain, could violate serious privacy laws. And if any of these documents were fabricated with the intention of framing Justin Baldoni, that's an even graver offense. At that point, we're not just talking about a Hollywood smear campaign. This enters the territory of fraud and defamation. Legal experts are already weighing in, warning that if Lively or anyone in her camp knowingly circulated forged complaints or submitted false evidence, the repercussions could be devastating. From career-ending industry blacklisting to full-fledged lawsuits, the consequences of evidence tampering in a case like this could destroy reputations permanently. And the fallout is already beginning. Behind the scenes, sources claim Sony is furious about this scandal and won't take kindly to an employee, or anyone, leaking or fabricating internal HR documents to manipulate a legal battle. But perhaps the angriest party of all, Justin Baldoni's legal team. They are livid over what they see as a blatant attempt to tarnish Baldoni's reputation with unverified, suspiciously timed leaks. This move may have been intended to bolster Blake's accusations, but instead, it's exposing her to accusations of evidence tampering, bad faith tactics, and outright deception. This is quickly shaping up to be a classic case of a plan backfiring spectacularly. And Baldoni? He's not backing down. His response has been firm, unflinching, and unapologetic. As soon as these highly suspect HR complaints hit the internet, Baldoni's powerhouse attorney, Brian Friedman, went public, immediately casting doubt on the entire leak. Friedman made it clear that they're launching a full investigation into the source of the leak, and that whoever is responsible will be held accountable. Friedman didn't mince words. He openly questioned the authenticity of the leaked documents, pointing out just how suspicious it was that key details like dates were redacted. To him, this wasn't just an accidental breach. It smelled of a deliberate setup. In so many words, Friedman sent a strong and clear message. We're not buying this. And he wasn't the only one. Behind closed doors, Baldoni himself was outraged, but not surprised. Sources close to the actor say he has long suspected that Lively might resort to desperate measures to gain the upper hand in this battle. But what she didn't expect. He's ready to fight back. Instead of retreating under the weight of these accusations, Baldoni is turning the tables. He's not about to let a few conveniently timed shady leaks derail his career. Instead, he's coming out stronger than ever, determined to expose the full truth about what's really happening behind the scenes. And now, with the legitimacy of these documents crumbling under scrutiny, the question isn't just who leaked them, but who will face the fallout. As more details emerge, it's clear that this Hollywood battle is far from over. And if these leaks really were part of a calculated takedown, Blake Lively may have just made the biggest mistake of her career. Let's dive even deeper into the brewing legal war, the mounting evidence, and the shocking next moves that could change everything.